Hey guys, bit of a different video here for you today. Normally for a build I would take a lot more production value, get a lot more background gameplay, much longer explanation, that kind of stuff. This build is currently breaking the game, and the reason I'm making this video in the way I am is because it's going to be nerfed. Probably very soon. So I'm going to go over everything you need to make it work. If I don't touch on something directly, you can assume it's customizable. I'm going to showcase everything you need to do. Starting off, you need Prismatic Hunter for this. You need to be running Tether as your super. Tether is a 30% debuff. It is going to improve our damage by 30%. It is mandatory. For your dodge, go with Gambler's Dodge to fully refund your melee when you use it. For your melee, go with Combination Blow. Combination Blow was changed to the new additive system, and part of that was that its reduction in damage with stuff like Grapple Grenade was removed. And then for your grenade, go with Grapple Grenade, because this is the ability that's actually dealing all the damage you see in the background gameplay. For aspects, the only one you need is Stylus Executioner. This isn't required to fully work with the build, but it is going to be necessary if you want to maximize your melee damage. Basically, the goal of this is to turn invisible mid-grapple melee and get the melee damage bonus while we're invisible while we're grapple meleeing. If this does not proc, it's perfectly fine. You still hit for a ton of damage because this is only an additive buff, so it's not the biggest deal. But this is something that if it works, it is going to noticeably increase your damage. For the fragments, none of these really matter. The only one I would recommend is Facet of Dawn. Facet of Dawn is here to give us Radiant, and that's necessary for the seasonal artifact to get even more of a damage bonus, which is why I would recommend it here. In addition, if you want to rock something like Facet of Purpose, this is a very easy way to get a Void Overshield with this build just by picking up an Overpower thanks to having Tether. Again, these two, I would say, are the ones I would actually run if you're going to run anything. Otherwise, your fragments are only here to boost your stats. I would recommend having any kind of grenade bonuses if you do not have naturally 200 grenade stats. If you do not have a way to get your grenade stat to 200, like I am using 2 font mods, you are going to invest in your grenade fragments here, meaning stuff like Passive Sacrifice, for example, to boost your grenade stat. It is incredibly important that you have 200 grenade stat with this build. After you hit 200, you want to try to maximize your melee stat. That's how you get a lot of your damage with this setup. I briefly touched on the seasonal artifact. The only thing you need is Shield Crush. That is it. Basically, when you have Woven Mail, Frost Armor, or a Void Overshield, you get a melee damage increase. While you're Amplified or Radiant, you get a grenade damage increase. Grapple melees are part grenade and part melee, so they get both. For the armor, the only things I would recommend are on your gauntlets. If you do not have 200 grenade, or if you have 200 grenade and you're trying to maximize your melee damage, use font mods for grenade and melee. Again, grenade first, then melee. The reason for this is that at 200 stats, you get a bonus 65% grenade damage. Because grapple melees are part grenade and part melee, that means you get an improved 65% damage bonus. Melees will get at max 200 stats, a 30% damage bonus. So because of that, grenade is more important. But if you already have your grenade maxed out and you can afford to get over 100 melee, invest in that as well. I would recommend having at least 70 melee though, just because then you have the full regen for your class ability, and this allows you to do the combination blow chain effectively. The only piece of armor you really need is an exotic cloak with Spirit of Verity. The other perk can be anything, it doesn't matter. Spirit of Verity is all you need for damage. Spirit of Verity will give you a 100% damage bonus at max stacks, basically doubling the damage of your grapple melee grenade. Besides that, nothing else really matters. You just need to have a base 200 grenade stat in whatever way possible, and then as much melee as you can manage, while also having a Spirit of Verity cloak. That is it for the armor, nothing else. For the weapons, you're going to want 2 weapons primarily. The first is the Navigator, mainly to spawn a tangle point above a boss whenever you use its alternate fire mode. This is mainly relevant if you're using this against a boss for sustained DPS. If you're going to have multiple melees attacking him, this is what you're using this for. If you're trying to use this for more generalized content, don't worry about this, it's not important. This is mainly if you're using this against a boss where you'll probably have multiple melees hitting him. The other weapon is Bastion or any 1-2 punch shotgun. 1-2 punch is going to buff our grapple melee damage because again it's part grenade, part melee. Bastion is just a better version of 1-2 punch. It will give you a larger melee boost than 1-2 punch regularly will. So if you can do a hot swap from Navigator to Bastion, just simply this, and you're comfortable doing that, use Bastion. If you're not, keep Navigator on and then have a 1-2 punch shotgun on in your energy slot. Stuff like the Aikilo shotgun is a fan favorite, has 1-2 punch on it, it's craftable, go get it. The final weapon is in your heavy slot. You want to have some kind of strand heavy weapon that is good at ad clear. You don't want to use a rocket launcher or a grenade launcher because getting a multi-kill on a rocket is only going to fill up one part of the bar for Spirit of Verity. You want something that can kill multiple ads individually in quick succession. Something like a machine gun is very good at doing this. After that, that is it. You have nothing else to worry about. Anything else is customizable. You can fit this build however you want. As long as you're using the things that I went over, it'll work. So how much damage are we actually doing? This is kind of difficult because of, one, the additive melee system and the new frame of reference with the damage nerfs, meaning that damage values are just lower across the board. So let's go over the actual boost then that this build utilizes. So first off, Combination Blow is an additive bonus. At max stacks, Combination Blow is a 400% melee damage increase. Bastion has been newly buffed with Edge of Fate. Its 1-2 punch variant is a 300% melee damage bonus. If you do not have Bastion or you just don't feel comfortable hot swapping, you can always run Navigator and a regular 1-2 punch shotgun. 1-2 punch will be a 150% additive bonus. Stylish Executioner is a 300% additive melee damage bonus if you manage to turn invisible while you're grappling. Again, it's not necessary with this build, but if you get it to work, it's just more damage, might as well use it. Now again, the thing to remember is that this is all additive. So this is 300% plus 400% plus 300%, so 1000%. That on its own isn't that much. Where it gets crazy is with grenade damage, because while melee damage is additive, grenade damage is still multiplicative. So what we do then is we take Spirit of Verity, which is a ×2 damage bonus. We take our grenade stat, which at 200 points is a 65% damage increase, so that's multiplicative. If you can get your melee stat as high as it can possibly go, you will have a 30% damage bonus. The only reason I don't have my melee stat higher is because my armor really isn't that good on Hunter at the moment. And unless you get really strong tier 5 armor or really strong tier 4 armor, it's very hard to fully invest in grenade and then get above 100 strength. It is possible though, and so if you have the armor to make it work, do it. For Shield Crush, even though melee damage was changed to be additive, I still believe this is a multiplicative buff for my testing. So in total, if you have both parts, it'll give you a 25% damage bonus. If you just manage to have the grenade bonus or just the melee bonus, it's a 12% damage increase. So again, as simple as that sounds, that's really it. So really quick, I'm in the firing range. I want to show you guys how to actually stack this build and get all the damage. So first thing you want to do is stack Combination Blow. Combination Blow will be active for 20 seconds, so it's very easy to manage, and it's the first one you want to get going. From here, you want to start getting whatever way you have of getting Verity. For example, for me, it's the LMG, so I'm just getting some LMG kills. I'm also relying on stat investment for stuff like our grenade bonus, so I'm doing that too. Upkeep Combination Blow periodically, and then also upkeep Death Throws by getting our strand kills. From here, I'm going to spawn in the boss, and this is how you're going to treat it as if you were in the regular content. Grapple above him, tether to him, swap to Bastion, while everything is still active, deal your damage. But keep in mind, with that basic setup, I did not have full Verity. I did not have the full effect of Shield Crush. So it gets much stronger. You don't need to do the grapple point hot swap if you're not comfortable. You can just Bastion into a 1-2 punch and do it a single time if you want to. If you have everything stacked correctly, it's going to do more than enough damage anyway, so it's totally fine. The only thing you don't want to do with this setup is pop Transcendence, because if you have everything set up and then you go to do, the whole tether grapple combo, this replaces your grapple grenade, so you can't do it. So don't pop Transcendence with this setup whenever you're trying to get it ready. So that's pretty much everything you need to one-shot bosses. Again, this build is going to be nerfed. It's not if, it's when. This build is currently the strongest damage source by far in the entire game, and it's fundamentally game-breaking. I haven't done it myself, but I've seen other people one-shot Atheon with this setup, so I think that kind of speaks for itself. Bungie will be nerfing this, so enjoy this while you can, because it's not going to last forever. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Currently editing a Warlock build, so stay tuned for that. As always, dim link for this exact setup is in the description if you want it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you guys, and have a great day.